Hey everybody, it's your girl Bunny. To all of my returning subscribers, hey, how you doing? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. Kick your feet up, subscribe to this family-friendly channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any posts. Also follow me on Instagram at the same profile name so you don't miss the sneak peeks of what's coming up next. In this video, I give a full episode recap with photos offset to the side, and then I give my review at the end. No need to dig around. I have all of the minute marks in the comments. It's all coming up next. This season of Ready to Love, we took things to Chocolate City, Washington, D.C. 22 men and women got together in our nation's capital in search of life, liberty, and the pursuit of a love connection. Each week, the power to eliminate shifted back and forth between men and women. Over 10 weeks, America saw which hearts were open and which ones were just not ready to love. Tonight, they're ready to tell the truth and nothing but the truth about the romance, the breakups, and the drama. It's Ready to Love DC Special, Part 1. Due to an unfortunate positive COVID status, Tommy passes the torch to host and DC native Tanika Ray. There were a lot of things that happened on camera and even when the cameras weren't rolling. We will visit that a little later. This season, 2 singles dropped into the mix, Sydney and Sean. Sean wasted no time looking for his true connection. From the jump, Aisha and Sean hit it off, but when it came to the matter of having children, Aisha, already a mother, decided to take a stop on childbirth, and so did Sabrina. There was even static with Sabrina's friends when he tried to communicate how they disagreed concerning children. Sean knew that being a dad was something that he really wanted, therefore not making them have a true connection. When Tasia delivered the news of his elimination, he said, "Hallelujah." He clarifies that he didn't just want to pick someone and go through the process just to say, "I made it to the end." He didn't enjoy the process, and Sabrina takes a moment to apologize on behalf of her friends because he felt attacked when they questioned him. The friends didn't know what was going on behind the scenes. Sean clarifies that it's not the first time Sabrina apologized due to her friends. Before he left, she stopped him and said, "Sorry." He has a lot of love and no ill will towards anyone. When it came to Sydney, she found connections with Phil and Frank. They all cracked up at Phil and Frank's reaction when she arrived. It was very evident that Frank and Phil liked what they saw. Phil developed his connection with Sydney when they got to know each other even deeper. Their conversations and their first kiss blossomed. The decision day was filled with joy and no regrets. Sydney was attracted to his calm, chill demeanor, which pulled them closer together to get to know him. Phil was drawn to her bubbly conversation, that she was very beautiful. Talking to her made him learn so much more. They are proud to announce that they are dating exclusively. When the host asked if wedding bells are in the future, they both agreed that that's something that definitely has potential. They want to take their time and enjoy the journey. The minute Camille came to the scene, she made her presence known. It's time to check out the many faces of Camille, plus some never-before-seen footage. Cornelius even whispers to Camille, "Be careful, you know they're gonna bring it." It's hilarious facial reactions to a lot of the things that Camille said early in the process. Her telling people that Cornelius is her boyfriend from day one. It even brings a shocked and confused look from Tommy. There's production clips of Camille literally saying things that are a bit cringy to watch. When women even give feedback about Cornelius, she even makes more awkward faces. It's so distracting that Tommy had to stop several times while trying to facilitate moments in the ladies' lounge. There's never seen before footage of Camille telling Dante about her several personalities that she has. She thinks everyone has multiple personalities. She just takes the personal time to name hers. Her additional personalities are Olivia and Shay Shay. There's another awkward moment when Dante tried to tell Camille she wasn't ready to leave, and Camille admits she was about to go off and drops the F-bomb with possible threatened repercussions. The host wants to know, so what's the tea? What personality is here tonight at the reunion? Camille says that everything is fine and those personalities are just a part of her. They are definitely booed up, and backstage, the cast has no doubt that they'll be moved in with one another very soon. Cornelius feels that it will be a slow process, though. Camille says that all of those moments where she was passive, angry, and possessive are all a tribute to editing. Sabrina verbally says that there's not enough editing in the world. Camille laughs it off because she's a theater major, but Sabrina is clearly unamused with the BS. The host wants to know if Sabrina would like to say anything else, but Sabrina says that that's not any of my business. That's between them, and plus, they don't pay any of my bills. Aisha is tired that Camille will not admit to her aggressive behavior with the women. She's just getting away with things again. While the staff preps for the next setup, Camille taunts Aisha by singing, "Keep it classy, keep it classy." Multiple connections can be a little confusing, but for Tyrone, they were a pain. Tyrone admitted that he's more of an introvert, and at times he can be socially awkward. He didn't really know how to communicate with Carrie that there was another connection with someone else, and their connection slowly fizzled. Instead, he called her aggressive. Later on, Shiloh was saddened to communicate to Tyrone that he was just a little bit more into her than she was so quickly, and that he had been eliminated. Unfortunately, Shiloh couldn't be present for the reunion. Tyrone feels that the experience made him more self-aware. His mind and emotions that were going on at the time were all over the place. His delivery could have been a little different. He says that if he could do it all over again, he would say, "There's nothing negative I have to say about you. I just have a stronger connection with someone else, and I would like to explore that." The delivery and sincerity of Tyrone's words were surely beautiful and received by Terry. She's thankful he was so sincere and kind. Everyone agrees Tyrone is an awesome guy and open. The host educates how the word aggressive to describe a black woman can be very charging, and it's no good. So what you guys did was you communicated very well, honestly and clearly. It was a great example to the audience how things should be done. Tyrone even further explained that when the fellas talked about the scenarios of who they would wife or who they would be friends with is why he made the comment that he did about how Shiloh could be his wife. Cornelius almost made it to the end of the journey, but he was eliminated. He immediately had the connection to Camille, her behavior. He was attracted to her, although there's footage of Camille talking to Cornelius very rudely, and it strikes the fellas and everybody else backstage, and they're very shocked. During the process, Cornelius's ex warns about Camille's 3 engagements and says to be careful. Of course, it seems not to disturb his thoughts about Camille. She gifted him a necklace which seemed to make the getting to know you phase go even faster. Camille cries and tells him that he's been eliminated, but she thinks that they have a true connection. With that being said, she self-eliminates herself. People backstage are shocked at the footage. Again, the host wants to know if they've looked at episodes that have aired together, and they say yes. Camille said that they had several conversations about those so-called other connections. As they answer, the other ladies can't help to show emotion of awkwardness on their faces. Cornelius says that he did talk to other ladies a little, and it doesn't take him long to decide what he wants. Backstage, Tyrone wants to know, hey, he did say that he liked Camille early on, right? Dante clarifies, yeah, but he didn't allow himself to actually go through the process or even get to know the other ladies and date. Courtney explains that she had no regrets when it came to trying to connect with Cornelius. If she wanted to date him, they just went on a date, and Camille didn't stop her from doing that, although Camille was aggressive towards the other women. While Courtney is talking, Camille says, didn't we just talk about aggressive to Cornelius a word ago? Courtney continues to talk, and Camille turns to Zadia saying, who did I come at? Courtney continues saying that Camille a lot of the times was even a bully. The host wants to know why the ladies felt that he wasn't ready to love. Aisha explains that it wasn't about him finding connection early and that everyone has a different journey or a process. It was about Camille blocking other women and getting a chance to get to know him. She even made open threats, and it was a problem. It was like, How can we approach this guy if there's going to be backlash from Camille? When everyone wanted to talk to him, they couldn't get a word in. Sabrina chimes in and says, I still think Cornelius has regrets. Backstage, Carrie says the ladies need to hold him accountable. Sabrina continues to say that I feel like you were pressured into your situation. Cornelius denies being pressured, and Aisha asks the ladies, am I bugging? And they confirm that she isn't. Definitely not. Camille said that she texted Aisha, and if she felt like she needed an apology, she could have just said that. But Aisha didn't want an apology. Backstage, Phil wants to know, why is Walter on the set? He has nothing to do with this conversation. He even looks confused, and everyone backstage agrees and laughs. The host puts Zadia on the spot. It seems really convenient that Camille never gave her that aggressiveness. And Sydney says, oh, that's because of their created Brown Girl Squad. And everybody says, oh, and now it's time for the steaming hot tea. Sabrina says that she got the details according to Camille. Aisha is not brown enough and I'm too light. The host says, you know what, as a brown girl, that made me very sad that was created and that was such a thing. Black women have enough labels and trouble as much as it is. Zadia says that they weren't going into it trying to separate everybody on the set. It was just like we were melanin girls and we were just engulfed with us being good friends. Sabrina says, but you literally did that the whole time. You were literally branching off and being your own group together. Courtney says that y'all had an entire internet page dedicated to the Brown Girl Squad. Sabrina has had it and screams, you just do foul shit. You act like you're so innocent and you don't take accountability. Zadia downplays the entire situation and Sabrina sees through more BS. The host wants to know if Sabrina would be able to be a part of this so-called Brown Girl Squad if it's for everyone. But Zadia is a little sarcastic, saying, didn't you just hear Sabrina curse me out? And Sabrina says, you really didn't try to be anybody's friend. I mean, I cursed just now. It's just because I'm frustrated because she's been treating everybody like trash. She even calls Zadia nasty and a bully. Zadia then walks off the set. Cornelius whispers to Camille, I thought this was my segment. After a set change, they moved to Frank. He had a connection with both Sydney and Mumin, but eventually chose Mumin. They vibed from the beginning. He tells Sydney during the process that he loved spending time with Mumin, but didn't want to lose Sydney. Sydney made a production note that gave the notion that they should just be friends. Frank chose Mumin, and he wanted to continue getting to know each other. The host wants to know what's the status of their journey. And Mumin doesn't answer quickly. It's not going well. There isn't any movement at all. After decision day, nothing happened. They haven't even went out on a date. Frank says that there's multiple reasons why. He cares for her, but when the cameras were off, he needed to regroup. He says because of the process, he needed to pull back because things in the relationship didn't add up. The host is confused because throughout the process, Frank seemed to be a very logical thinker. Why all of a sudden is there a shift? Frank clarifies that from early on, he thought they were moving too fast too soon. But then Mumin says, I'm confused. She doesn't understand the too fast, too soon comments because there's nothing that's been moving too quickly. Courtney backstage says that Frank just needs to be direct. What's going on? Mumin says several women thought that Frank wasn't ready, but I was the one that said that I believe what he's telling me. All you had to do was keep your word, and you didn't keep your word. That's all anyone has at the end of the day. Mumin is brought to tears because he talks about how he doesn't want to be hurt again and how he's afraid about the future. But everybody has been hurt in the past, and everybody's been through something. The process wasn't easy for anyone. Aisha knows that the process really shines a light on what everyone wants and how you identify with relationships. Zadia chimes in and said that he should look at a relationship as a friendship. And how would you feel if someone did that to a friend? Frank knows that friendships and relationships is something to be valued. He doesn't deny that. Weirdly, Camille then chimes in and says that I think you knew what you had, because if you knew that, you wouldn't have done this to Mumin. This wouldn't be happening. The host wishes them well for any endeavors in the future. We then revisit Zadia and Camille, how they kick up dust and go from 0 to 10. A lot. Camille reps the Brown Girl squad again and again. Never before seen footage of Camille telling everyone not to put Cornelius in the bottom or eliminate him at all, along with threats, and that she won't invite anyone to their wedding, whoever votes him off. There's even the infamous dinner table incident. Camille threatens to F someone up if they vote off Cornelius, and Zadia calling Aisha a hater, and Cornelius, Walter, and Naim watching it like it's television. Aisha understood that Aisha just wanted to speak her mind without feeling like she was being attacked. After they roll the footage, Sabrina turns to Phil and asks, "Should I take off my shoes now or what?" Naim says that after the first deliberation with the guys, 8 out of 9 men pick Zadia. The ladies are like, okay, how will we know that? He insinuates that maybe all of the ladies have something against her because the majority of the men wanted her or picked her. All of the ladies, it seems, in unison say that has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about. And the host is like, yeah, we're talking about the incident at the retreat. Aisha and several others say, we don't know what goes on in the gentleman's lounge. We have no idea what gentleman picked who or said what. What are you talking about? Everyone can't help but to laugh, and Carrie stops the BS saying, okay, it's not about the show at this point. We're talking about respect and how Zadia and a few others treat people. He cuts her off and says, it sounds like a lot of people are just thirsty for friendships and not love. And now everyone on stage bursts out with even more laughter. Nye is clearly in denial about everything concerning Zadia. Sydney says that, wow, can one of the fellas check him? Give him a peach. Zadia and Nye continue to talk about how everyone's connections weren't solid, and the only ones that really had true connections from the jump were Cornelius and Camille. The host reminds Zadia that when she said that Aisha had no connections, that simply wasn't true. At one point in time, Zadia had Dante and Nye as potential. Everyone had a process. Aisha brings up where Camille kept telling everyone if Cornelius went home, she would F someone up over and over again. But Camille says that she never said that, and production did a voiceover of someone else's voice. Cornelius even says, yeah, I didn't hear her say that. Play the clip again. They play the clip twice, and Camille, without a doubt, says that statement 2 times in a row. Camille is still in denial, and Tasia walks off this stage because the matter is just ridiculous to her. She didn't understand why people are grown adults arguing, bickering back and forth. And Aisha says to the host, it's getting a little ratchet because we're actually calling out people about their actions. Tasia says to production and backstage that she's upset because her mother is in the hospital and no one is holding themselves accountable for their actions. Before we can continue to go into further topics, it's the end of the episode. And now it is time for your favorite part of the video. That's right, my review. Now, if you watched this reunion special, you were just like, can we just get this over with? Can we just have everything in 1 hour or an hour and a half and just wrap up this season? That's how I felt. And if you've been following me this season of all of the recaps and the reviews, I have been right about any and every one this entire season. I hope that you remembered all of the stuff that I said, and I gotta give myself a pat on the back for a lot of stuff. Let's just start with Frank. Okay, and Mumin, right? I'm the type of person that doesn't just jump on, oh, poor Mumin, right? Oh, she doesn't, somebody backstage says she doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve her. Okay, so let's be real here. Okay, it's because it's easy for people just to see a woman crying and just say, oh, that jerk, that guy. Okay, let me tell you what's happening in this situation. As a woman, and if you grow up around a lot of men, you get a cheat sheet on a lot of stuff when it comes to certain things. Okay, you get a cheat sheet about things that are really simple that women can potentially make complex. I'll give you a perfect example. In my last review, I was talking about Mumin, and a couple of reviews ago, I was talking about Sabrina, Mumin, and Zadia. I was talking about their passive aggressive behavior. Now that's been overshadowed because lately Sabrina has been viewed as, oh, and she picked herself and she didn't this, but people quickly forget about the behaviors of Sabrina, the behaviors of Mumin, okay, and the behaviors of Zadia. Quickly forget that stuff until they keep talking and you realize, right, how they really act with a K. Okay, so Frank and Mumin, literally in the Decision Day episode, she did not want to be there. It was very obvious. Her body language told it all. She was being chosen by somebody. Yeah, they had connections, and I felt it was because they had a lot of similarities. Maybe it's what they thought that family would have wanted, okay, that they were compatible. And I say a lot of the times what looks good on paper, oh, we're compatible in this and this, and you're checking all of the boxes, is not necessarily a good relationship because you want to have passion. Frank is he said it over and over again, he's a very sexual, intimate person, touchy-feely person. And with Mumin, she ain't into that, okay? So you're taking a sexually powered, charged man and a woman, okay? And with this series, it can be the other way around. You can have women that are very sexually charged and making it known that they want to do what they want to do. Perfect example, Cornelius and Courtney, okay? And people are just like, oh, he a Christian and she need to get off of him. People should be able to express how they feel, whether they're abstinent or whether they're sexually charged. That's fair. We shouldn't judge either or. With Frank and Mumin, you could just tell with body language and all of that they were more compatible on paper. There was no passion there. In that Decision episode where he leans and he picks her, it's just like she's just so like, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go. And Mumin putting on this facade that Frank is really feeling the vibes that this ain't it. That we looked good on paper, but now it's not. And I think that men do this too. Men don't want to hurt women's feelings, so they'll try to say any and everything not to hurt the woman's feelings. Okay? Women do it, men do it too. Frank is putting it all on himself. Like, oh, I needed to pull back in this process and this and that. It hit him in the head that day of the Decision episode, when they were filming out there in the sand, he saw her body language. He saw how she reacted, how she didn't look that happy. And the production had to force her to do this little run and jump thing into his arms, which was just so not sincere. He saw that. That's why after that day, she didn't get no call. That's why after that day, he didn't take her anywhere because he didn't want to keep that going. He was like, oh no, like I'm pretty sure a guy would want to see the female excited, just like how Sydney was with Phil. They were excited, they were happy, they were hugging. Not saying you had to tongue each other down, but it was obvious that they were happy with the decision that they made. Mumin's mind was still on Walter in that whole situation, and possibly other people that she had connections with. She was pissed off. And she rolled with that because she thought, I'm going to make it to the end. That's just facts. If you don't want to see the truth in that, look at that episode again of Decision Day and see how Mumin was just like, let me just do this last bit of filming and let me take my butt home. And that was the perfect opportunity for Mumin to put all of the blame on just him. When, girl, it's true. It goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. And as women, okay, with guys, you have to understand that men are very simple. They're not complex. If they don't call you, they don't want to call you. If they're not texting you, they don't want to text you. Speaking of that, let's talk about Tyrone and Carrie. We talked about her early on in the season, right? Once again, Tyrone not really knowing how to communicate. I really don't like you that no more. So what he says is that he picks these words to push her away. You were coming on to me like, you were a little aggressive and had another, a connection. He was terrified. He didn't know what to say. He's already introvert. He's already socially awkward. He didn't know what to say or how to say it. Now that he's in this situation where we have no connections, you're gone, have nothing to do with you. He's in an environment where he can just chill out. He's thought about it. He said, if I could have reworded it, I would have said this. Somebody from the hood would have been like, you then, forget it. Who cares? That is the signal. And when Carrie kept, contacting him like, hey, you haven't contacted me, you haven't called, Tyrone was like, oh, snap. What do I do with this so she can stop texting me and calling me? Not saying that she was doing it forcibly, but she was probably just trying to check in like, hey, I'm just noticing you haven't called me in a while. What's good? It should be pretty simple. Okay, those are the signs. These are the times we all wish for when he don't call you no more. Let's move on to Sean. Sean is so great. Okay, he tried his best to connect with people when he came. He talked to everybody. He was forthright. I want to do this. I'm kind of interested in this. Just like how a woman says, I don't want to have any more kids. A man should be able to say, I want them. And if you can't give them to him, or if it's something that you feel you don't want to do no more, he should be able to move on. We should see stuff equally with both sexes. I'm gonna need y'all to stop that. Oh, Sean, he said he wants some kids. It's not his fault. You already got 3 or whatever. He said that. Then when he talked to Sabrina, it's not his fault. You already got a child either. And he made it so plain. I don't understand. When he sat down with Sabrina's friends, he was just like, well, she, she has a daughter and I don't want to hurt her in the future because I know I want kids. I'm trying to understand, how was that? How can you misunderstand it? I'm confused. That's like ABC 1, 2, 3. Confused about why you don't understand that. Let's talk about Camille. Camille, what's the deal? Chill. That's ill. How do you feel? Girl, you need a punching bag. You mad? Girl, you be mad all the time. What's going on? And it just goes to show this toxicity, these toxic couples. Zadia and Nye, Camille and Cornelius. I've said over and over again, Zadia and Nye are connecting, quote unquote. Okay. For one, let's be real. Let's be real about some stuff. People act certain ways if they can get away with certain stuff. And people know who they can act certain ways with. Here's a terrible, example, but it's valid. If somebody abuses somebody, just, they physically hit on them, they usually hit on people who are very timid and shy and afraid and don't stand up for themselves. You don't hear, the guy going upside the lady's head who got 3 brothers and will tear the whole house up if you even put your hands on her, push her, touch her pinky, and put that pinky push her too far. She's strong, she proud, she confident, she independent. It's certain people that they ease their way onto. With Zadia, it's the same situation. Now I explained that he used to be a real hot-headed back in the day, which clearly we saw he's still hot-headed. They are 2 peas in the same toxic pod. I've been saying this whole time because we see how quickly he was, defending her. And it's clear that Zadia was in his ear like, yeah, well, I think they hating on me. And, him, he probably broke the guy code and saying, well, it was 8 or 9 of us after the first liberation that was picking you. And that, and they just ping pong back and forth on the BS and just kicking up dust. Then you got Camille and Cornelius. I've been saying that they will probably be married or stay together till they old and gray. Let me tell you why. Because they are of the same dysfunctional coin. Okay? I've said over and over again that Camille and Cornelius are dysfunctionally perfect for one another. She likes to push people around and he likes to be pushed over. They came to this reunion looking like country twins, coordinating their outfit, both wearing grills at the bottom, and they just ping-ponging, you know what I'm saying, the toxicity and the BS. Well, I don't think she said that. Did I say that? And it's like you just high-fiving the buffoonery. You just high-fiving. I know you acting crazy, but hey, here you go. I got your back. Any person with some sense knows, even with friends and family, the people that you ride or die for, it's those moments where you just be like, you know what, you was wrong about that. Or, you know what, I would have said this a little different. Or, you know what, we might need to talk about that. You know, and I don't pay attention to the personal lives outside of the show. I know a lot of people, you know, invest a lot of time and figure out what they're doing with their personal life and all this other stuff. And people try to tag me and stuff. I don't care. I'm looking at the show. I could care less about what they're doing. Apparently, you know, it's showing them taking pictures together. And you know, I'm not surprised. Okay? I'm not surprised. People like that attract one another. They lock together. I mean, it's just that simple. If you don't get it, DM me on Instagram and I'd be happy to go more into detail about that. I hope that Tasia is okay. It looked like she was just so overwhelmed with stuff that was going on at home. You know, she said that her mother was in the hospital, and it just seems, you know, like, man, when you got somebody that isn't well or is something that's more serious, you know, at home or at work or whatever the case may be, you focused on school, whatever it is, and you hear somebody arguing over stuff that's so petty, you do get overwhelmed like that, because you like, really? Y'all arguing about who ate the last cookie of the cookie jar, and you know, somebody I know was just in a 4-car pile-up wreck. Like, y'all arguing about that. So I get that. Tasia was just over it. She was like, this is so crazy. And I get that she was overwhelmed with emotion. I understand it. And I hope that her mother is okay. And I hope she's feeling much better. Although, you know, like Aisha said, yeah, it's getting a little tit-for-tapping back and forth because we're trying to hold people accountable. After a while, with certain people, especially adults, when somebody don't want to be held accountable and they don't want to take responsibility, or they don't want to put their best foot forward and apologize about some stuff, just forget it. Aisha, you kept bringing up the stuff and you kept saying this, and I was just like, girl, I loved you on this show, but I mean, you don't have to say the same thing over and over again. We know what other people have done. We've seen the playback, and sometimes we rewatch it because there ain't nothing else on. You don't have to keep saying that over and over again, okay? I don't know if you thought the host was gonna pick Camille up and put her over her knee, or put her on punishment or something like that. Let people be who they are. If you bring it to the table and you talk about it and then nothing happens, you just kind of gotta ignore them, or just don't get all riled up and get your feathers ruffled. I mean, once you say it once, I'm from the South, I'm gonna say it once and that's it. I ain't saying stuff over and over again. Last but not least, let's talk about Shiloh. Shiloh, girl, I knew you wasn't coming. I knew you wasn't coming. Oh, I knew you wasn't coming, girl. What? I knew you wasn't coming. Coming, girl. Look. I knew she wasn't going to show up, y'all. When they said, oh, fortunately, Shiloh couldn't make it. Girl, we know. I knew. Because it's either one of 3 reasons why Shiloh didn't come. She was embarrassed. 2, she was embarrassed. Or C, she was embarrassed. Or D, she was embarrassed. Or E, all of the above. Yeah. So if you're unsure about what to pick, just pick C, because majority of the time C is a good answer, and that's like a good, average of all of the choices. But the situation with Shiloh, I know she was embarrassed. She's probably thinking, I'm gonna have to see Phil again, and he's probably gonna be super happy with Sydney. I don't know. This is just what I'm guessing. She probably ain't thinking two things about the show. Maybe it was something with family or something personal going on. But I knew she wasn't going to show up. It was going to be something to where she was not going to be there. I hope she's okay, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure she's a really cool person. But with everything that happened in that one event, and they're going to ask her all of these questions, she was like, ooh, I got to just, oh, man. Because when she would have got there, don't let me do a reunion special. I would have been like, well, we actually have the video footage on network. Why y'all couldn't get the video footage of outside where they was at the time? I be watching too many crime detective shows, where the cops go to all of the gas stations and all of the surrounding places of an incident, and they get all of the footage of all the cameras, down the street. And I was like, yes, can you give me the footage of the alley on this street and this street? And I would have played that back. Okay, now were you drunk or were you what really? Okay, but see, he's picking you up. I would have ripped the whole situation to shreds. Okay, because like I said in the last episode, like Iyanla Vanzant says all of the time, sometimes people act a certain way, which holds people emotionally hostage. If you act and wild out and do something in a certain sort of way, and somebody is emotionally hostage to what they should do with you, they afraid, they don't know what's gonna happen. Should I call the cops? Should I follow you? Should I put you her in the car? I don't think there would have been anything that man could have done that night, because he don't know you like that, and he don't know where to put you or where to go or who to call. He was just put in this crazy situation. He was, as a man, he not going to admit it, but he was probably scared out of his mind. I can't leave this woman alone. What am I supposed to do? Emotionally, you held that man emotionally hostage. You know you did, and you didn't show up. Woo! Oh, y'all make sure to check out the video clip, okay, which I'm going to put at the end of this video, to check out the new premiere of the new season of Rated Love. Can you believe it? I know. I'm just showing you a picture, but at the end, click on the video. It is the new season. I got some detail about that. And to see the trailer, you can either go to the Own Network's page on YouTube, or you can see the full trailer without the commercials and all the interruptions and without Oprah saying hello and yelling and stuff. You can go on my Instagram and look at the full trailer of the new season on my Instagram. You can click on that video. Let me know what you think. Go to the comments. If the comment section is turned off, it's not me. I didn't disable. YouTube has this new process where they disable the comments because there's a new filter system that they have. If that's off, refresh your page, come back, make a comment. If it's not, come back another day, make your comment. Please, I want to see your comments so I can respond, so we can have some healthy debates. In the meantime, in between time, take care of yourself and each other. Watch out for some announcements next week. Until next time, I'm